Good morning, everyone. Welcome to back to those of you who live far away. Welcome back to Madison. Welcome to homecoming weekend. It is great to see all of you, and particular congratulations and thanks to our two distinguished alumni award winners for everything that you've done in many years here in the community and here at the university. The whole four are an impressive group. You heard Sarah mention that the end of our Always Forward fundraising campaign is coming next year with a mega gate. And when we opened this campaign 4 years ago with the goal of raising $3.2 billion, there was more than one person who told us we were being a little bit crazy and way too ambitious. Well, I'm delighted to tell you that they were wrong. With more than a year to go in this campaign, we're at 99% of our goal. That is great news. I am told there's going to be a day here in October, and it's probably going to be this weekend with all of you back in town, where we're going to have surpassed that goal. We're not going to stop because of that. I'm hoping in the last year of the campaign, we can really focus on a few areas where we still have more to do. Scholarships, faculty support, and some specific programs that the deans have prioritized. We're going to have a lot of reasons to celebrate next fall, and I hope you will plan to join us there. It is an exciting time on campus. Fall semester's in full swing, as you can see if you walk through campus. Everywhere you look, we're building something new. But of course, if you've been looking everywhere for parking, you may not be so pleased with that. It is good to be improving our facilities, but I think there were 1 or 2 days this summer between construction and road repair where you literally couldn't get to campus. We have 5,000 parents, family, and students taking part in Family Weekend next week, and our Badger athletes, as always, are giving us a lot of reasons to cheer. Women's volleyball is undefeated in Big Ten Conference play. Our national champion women's hockey team is again ranked #1. Men's hockey has some great new recruits and is looking good. And I suspect that more than a few of you are pretty excited about our undefeated Badger football team. And I hope to see you on Saturday. But it is time, Diana said there'd be a quiz tomorrow. That's not right, there's a quiz today. So you know there's always a quiz here. I'm a teacher, so today's quiz is going to be UW history. All right, so I'm going to see how much you guys know. There are 5 questions in this quiz, and you can count on your fingers if you don't have paper in front of you as you come up with these answers. So here's question number 1. What famous Badger turns 80 in 2020? What famous Badger turns 80 in 2020? If you've been reading your Flamingo, you know the answer to that. Number 2, this year, we celebrated the 150th anniversary of what milestone at the university? Some people know. Hopefully all of you know. It's what happened in 1869. Number 3, long before the UW crest became our primary logo, which wasn't until the 1990s, UW used a seal with a Latin motto inscribed on it. In fact, the first president of UW, John Lathrop, proposed that Latin motto, which is still used in many places around campus. What is UW's Latin motto? Question number 4. If that was hard, this is an easy one. Which UW chancellor was the first female chancellor in the Big Ten? And question number 5, for all of the sports fans in the audience, in all of history, how many total times have the Badgers played in the Rose Bowl? I've got a hint. You might have to use your toes to count that one. All right, as always, for those of you who aren't very good at your history, there is 1 extra credit point. Now, in the past, we've given extra credit if you arrived wearing red, but that didn't work. As you can see looking around you, there are a whole bunch of people who didn't get the message. So this time, we're going to use a little peer pressure. You get an extra credit point if the person sitting to the right of you is wearing red. All right. Let's see how everyone did. Number one, what famous Badger turns 80 in 2020? Bucky Badger is going to be 80 years old next year. He doesn't look a day over 13, does he? Question number two, what 150th milestone are we celebrating? The first class of graduating women at UW graduated in 1869, and we've been celebrating that all year. Question number three, what is the Latin motto of UW? Numen Lumen. Now, I'm not going to ask you what it means. There are some, I've been told, who say it actually has no Latin meaning, but President Lathrop's interpretation was the following. Listen very closely. Numen Lumen means, this is quoting directly from the first president, the divine within the universe, however manifested, is my light. You got that? You can see why we use the crest. Question number four, which UW chancellor was the first female chancellor in the Big Ten? Donna Shalala. I hope you all got that right. And question number five, this is probably hard for a few of you. How many total times have the Badgers played in the Rose Bowl? 9. It wasn't just the 90s and the 2000s. All right, how many of you actually got 5 points and extra credit, got 6 points? Anyone out there? I can't see anything with these lights down. Hopefully there are a number of you raising your hand. How about 5 points? All right, you guys did really well. 4 points? 3 or less? You're gonna have to study your history. All right, I want to move on to share some good news from around campus. And here are 5 top headlines of things happening on campus. Number one, we just welcomed the largest class of new faculty in 15 years. 147 outstanding teachers and researchers, scholars from nearly every field that you could mention. And it's the faculty that make this place a first-rate university. We've got some wonderful young new teachers and educators here on campus, and it's just great to have all that new energy coming into campus. Headline number two, in addition to welcoming one of our biggest classes of new faculty, we have also welcomed the largest freshman class in history. 7,500 students selected from a record-setting 44,000 applicants. That's good news. It was the out-of-state applications that increased more this year, but I will note that our class also includes the second largest number of Wisconsin residents in the last 15 years, which is also great news. We had a bit of an enrollment surprise this year. It's one reason our class is so large. And this is largely good news, but we did have to scramble a little. When we admitted this class, the number of acceptances, the percentage accepting, what we call the percent matriculating, was substantially above where it has ever been in our recent past history. And that's great. It's wonderful when you see more people wanting to come. But unfortunately, it did mean we have almost 300 more freshmen than we were anticipating. And so we've been scrambling a little. It does testify to our national reputation as an excellent school and good value, but among the challenges, it says where are we going to house all those new freshmen? And we've had to convert a few student lounges into dorm rooms in order to accommodate everyone. As you can see, the students love these. They're about 4 times the size of a normal room. And even though you've got some extra roommates, we've actually now had the problem that as some regular rooms are becoming open, the students don't want to leave these rooms, so go figure. Headline number 3, we just received our first ever STARS rating. STARS is a national program that rates colleges and universities on a number of measures related to environmental sustainability. We got a silver. That's not a gold, but it's typical for a first-year rating. And most important, the whole process of putting together this rating gave us a very clear sense of what are we doing well and where do we need to do better, and is really helping us prioritize what are the sustainability initiatives we want to be working on in the next couple of years. Headline number 4, You may remember last year, I told you that we set a new record for time to degree. Last year, our time to degree was 4 years and 4 days on average. And I know I said I want to get rid of those 4 days. Well, I'm going to tell you, we did it. We got updated numbers just last week. These are not public, so don't tell anyone this. Average time to degree at the University of Wisconsin is now 3.96 years, 2 weeks less than 4 years, and that is great news. More good news, we're in the top 10 of all public universities in our 6-year graduation rate. And as our classes have grown, we're also graduating record numbers of students. And what's particularly important here is that we're improving time to degree, we're improving graduation rates, we're improving our educational outcomes, even at the same time that we've grown class size a little bit. And that's a real accomplishment, and it's particularly due to the dedicated work of our schools, our colleges, our departments, and our research centers. And I really appreciate everything they've done to keep making the University of Wisconsin a better place for our students. Finally, headline number 5. For the 3rd year in a row, over half of our students graduated with 0 student loan debt. When I said this a few years ago, it's good. When I said this a few years ago, a number of people came up to me and said, I don't think I believe that. So I'm saying it to you again. Last year, 54% of our graduating class graduated with 0 debt. And of those who do take out student loans to pay them off, our default rate dropped again last week. It is just a little over 1% of those students from Wisconsin who at some point in the future don't repay their loans. That compares to a 10% default rate nationally. And that really confirms that our students are both highly responsible, we all know that, and they're landing great jobs and having no difficulty paying off the level of debt that they acquired. So we're marking some big successes, but at the same time, we have to be mindful that the environment around us, higher education in general, is undergoing a time of substantial change, and we need to change with it. And that means providing more flexibility for our traditional residential students and how they go through this university. It means better access, and it means looking at some alternative ways to deliver education. So let me tell you about a few innovations that we are working on. Last year, I told you about a new program we just launched to make UW-Madison more affordable to low and middle income families here in the state of Wisconsin. That program is called Bucky's Tuition Promise, and it makes the following promise. We will put together a scholarship package that covers 4 years of tuition and fees. If you are admitted to UW-Madison, you are from the state of Wisconsin, and your family income is below median income in the state. That means below $60,000 a year. I am happy to tell you we now have 1,700 Bucky's Tuition Promise students on this campus, coming from virtually everywhere in Wisconsin. It's great news. I want to tell you about one of those students. This is Mackenzie Smith. Is she up there? No, there she is, Mackenzie Straub. She grew up in Door County. She was valedictorian of her high school class, editor-in-chief of the school newspaper, captain of the varsity girls cross-country team, and in other words, exactly the sort of student we'd love to see coming to UW-Madison. And we were her first choice. She wanted to come. But in her junior year, her dad passed away, and it didn't look like her mom was going to be able to afford tuition, and there was no way to bridge the gap, even with the scholarships that she had qualified for. Then her guidance counselor told her about Bucky's Tuition Promise, and Mackenzie is now a top student in the School of Education. She wants to stay in Wisconsin and teach high school chemistry. We couldn't make this kind of commitment to students like Mackenzie without your help. Your gifts to the Always Forward campaign have created more than 3,800 new scholarships for students at all levels across campus, and that's a really important part of why we've been able to mount Bucky's Tuition Promise for the students of Wisconsin. So thank you very much. We are changing lives with this. We're doing some things innovative on the educational front as well. As some of you may have heard, we have created a new school of computer, data, and information sciences. It launched this fall. It's embedded inside the College of Letters and Science, and it brings together three long-standing departments: the departments of computer science, statistics, and the iSchool, the information school, the old library school. It's going to expand what we can do in research and education and strengthen our ability to compete at a national level for students interested in the technologies around data and data analysis. Computer science right now is our largest major. It has gone from 200 majors a decade ago to 1,700 this year. With this new school, we're also launching an undergraduate major in data science, but the mission of the school is not just to serve majors in computer information statistics or iSchool. It is to provide courses and certificates as well to that growing and very large number of students across campus who are majoring elsewhere, but who understand they need some training, access, exposure, skills in these whole areas of computer-related and data-related technologies. And I'm very excited about the opportunities at this school and what it is going to do, not just for those three departments, but for our expertise across campus in helping faculty, helping students better use all of the tools that are at their fingertips. Lastly, if I'm talking about innovations, I have to mention online education. We are primarily a residential university. That's not going to change in the near future. But giving people some online options expands our university and allows us to serve people who we couldn't otherwise be able to serve. This is particularly important as the demographics of this state and the entire Midwest shift, and we have fewer high school graduates and more people in their 20s and 30s who understand they need further credentials and a college degree, but didn't quite complete that. Maybe they have some college credits, but not a degree. So we're now enrolling in the very near future for our first new online degree program that is going to launch next fall. It's called, we actually don't have a title for it, it's basically personal finance, and it might get named something that's a little closer to the jobs that it leads to. Personal finance is one of the hottest majors nationally. We have the #2 program in the country in our School of Human Ecology. And I want to congratulate Dean Soyan Shim and the Personal Finance Advisory Board in the School of Human Ecology for their leadership in helping us launch this new program. I hope it's going to be the first of many. So thank you very much. And having talked about science and some other things, I do need to say a few words about the innovation we're doing in the arts. At Convocation last month, we asked the new freshmen who'd been involved in various activities to stand up. About 3/4 stood up when we asked who's done community volunteer work. About 2/3, 3/4 stood up when we said who's been involved in some form of sports. But when we asked about theater, art, music in high school, virtually every person was on their feet. No matter what their majors, we want our students to appreciate and to be involved with the creative arts while they are here on campus. Our art major is growing. Our dance major is the largest it's been in 10 years. The Chazen Museum just became the only museum in the country to open its doors 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And 2 weeks ago, as Diana mentioned, we had the first celebration of our stunning new Hamel Music Performance Center to be used by the Mead Witter School of Music. If you haven't been there, you've got to stop in. The building is right next to the Chazen on University Avenue. It has a lovely concert recital hall. It has great rehearsal space, and it's going to open up a whole new world of possibilities for our music students. Better still, rather than stopping in, actually, if you're anywhere in the area, come to a concert in the near future. I know a lot of people in this room donated to help us build and open this beautiful new building, and I thank you for that and invite you all to stop by to see it. Finally, we have some exciting growth and changes in our research enterprise. You all know that UW-Madison is a research powerhouse. We spend $1.2 billion a year on research on this campus. Last year alone, we launched 800 new federally funded projects. But if you're in the research field, you have to be nimble, you have to be thinking creatively to constantly stay on the leading edge. And let me tell you how we're doing that. I've already mentioned our new School of Computer, Data, and Information Science. This past year, we've also launched a new cross-campus research center, the American Family Insurance Data Science Institute. It's designed to bring together faculty from across campus, with particularly graduate students from across campus, to collaborate on research on areas like artificial intelligence and robotics. It will complement our new School of Computer Data and Information Sciences and be a resource for faculty in virtually every field as they work with ever more complex data questions. Our second major research innovation is the Cluster Hire program. I mentioned this program last year as well when we were just starting it up. A cluster is a joint hire of 3 to 4 faculty who work on a similar scientific issue but look at it through different disciplinary lenses. So the idea is to build strength across the university in multiple fields, to build interdisciplinary strength that lets us address questions in more holistic ways. And we've made really exciting progress on the clusters. We have 16 new research clusters approved, focused in many different areas, including freshwater science, better treatments for diseases like Parkinson's, or building UW into a national center for expertise on modern Arab politics and society. We are ultimately hoping to hire at least 60 new faculty in our clusters. This is one of the most significant investments we have made in many years in the research area to build faculty in focused areas that we are betting are going to be only more important in the years ahead, and where we really want UW to shine. So I'm really excited about that, and again, I appreciate all of the faculty, the research centers, the schools, colleges, and departments that have helped us make that happen. All of these innovations have one thing in common. They leverage our most powerful long-term competitive advantage at UW, a culture of collaboration that encourages and rewards creativity, risk-taking, and curiosity. You can see and feel the impact of that culture in everything we do. I hope you see it in your Board of Visitors meetings when you look at what's happening inside departments. But let me give you an example. There was a national competition last spring to develop a new food product. More than 24 universities took part, and of course UW, with its long history of food science, had to be part of it. We had a team of 9 students. The only requirement was to come up with a new food, but our students wanted to develop a food that was not only new, but also healthy and would reduce food waste. And if they wanted to win, they knew it had to taste good. They tried a few things that didn't work, and then they hit on a crunchy meringue cookie using dark cocoa and aquafaba, which is, if you don't know, I didn't, the liquid that most of us pour down the drain when we open a can of chickpeas. The cookie is called Trinapia. It won the silver medal in the national competition. Turns out you can eat a dozen Trinapias for just 70 calories. You might keep that in mind. And did I mention it's chocolate as well? It's not on the market yet, but keep your eyes open for it. That's the type of project that's happening everywhere around campus. It's the way that our students learn to work in the intersection where science, art, creativity, communication, and business all come together. Now, no Chancellor report would be complete without a mention of the budget. You all have your latest budget and brief on the table in front of you. I know you'll want to go home and read that. Governor Evers signed a 2-year state budget in July that contained mixed news for us. On the not-so-good side, we got very few new dollars from the state for education. The legislature gave the system, the whole system, less than we would have received simply to keep up with inflation. And they continued our tuition freeze. We're now facing 8 years of frozen in-state tuition. Our in-state tuition is about $9,500. That means we have to make up the difference with other forms of investment dollars. On the good news side, however, the capital budget is outstanding. We won approval for 5 of our major project requests, the biggest of which is the expansion and renovation of the School of Veterinary Medicine. Before we can break ground, we need to raise about $40 million in private gifts, and Dean Mark Markell and his team, I might note, are already close to that goal. They knew that was coming, but there's still a little bit more to raise. Getting this project over the finish line was a heavy lift for many years, and again, many of the people who made this happen are here today, and I can't wait to break ground on this renovation and expansion. It's long overdue for the Vet Med School. So please join me in giving Vet Med a round of applause for this one. I'm going to end with one last piece of good news. 2 weeks ago, we got word that 2 of our faculty members had been selected for a MacArthur Fellowship, better known as the MacArthur Genius Awards, one of the most prestigious and highly coveted awards in the country. In any given year, not a lot of these go to university researchers, and so not many universities have even one Genius Award given to their faculty. To have 2 in 1 year is extraordinary. Our 2 new MacArthur Fellows are Linda Berry and Andrea Dutton. Andrea is a geologist and an international expert on sea level rise. She's actually new to UW. We brought her here this year under a program we started called TOP, for Targets of Opportunity. The goal of TOP is to diversify our academic departments, and in this case, we're talking gender. Geoscience is heavily dominated by male scholars, both here and around the country. Andrea is one of the 15 new hires we've made through TOP, and to have a new person come in, to have them receive this type of award, just is a great example of our new hiring and the excitement about the faculty that are coming in. Linda Berry is an acclaimed cartoonist. The creator of The Simpsons calls her his biggest inspiration, and she's on the faculty of our art department. Linda teaches some of the most popular classes on campus. They're designed to help all students, but particularly those in STEM fields, to tap in the type of sustained concentration that leads to new ways of thinking. So I'm told her class is different from any other class. All the electronics are shut down. The students write and draw by hand, often with a timer going, sometimes with their eyes closed. It is rigorous, it's based on brain science, and many students say they find the whole experience transformative. Our 2 MacArthur winners work in fields that people often think of as entirely separate, art and science. But here at UW, we try very hard to bring those 2 fields together. My job is to ensure that Linda and Andrea and the 2,138 other outstanding faculty on this campus can continue to change lives with their research and continue to open up whole new ways of learning and thinking with their teaching. That's a tall order, but fortunately, I don't have to do it alone. I want to thank all of you for your dedication to the University of Wisconsin and for the many, many ways in which you support our university and our students and continue to make us one of the best public institutions in the country. I hope to see all of you at the game tomorrow, and on Wisconsin.